Did you know that Ron Barron predicts a 30x increase in Tesla stock? Barron is still a big believer in the top EV manufacturer. Tesla is currently preparing to meet and even exceed its manufacturing goals. To learn what Barron meant, keep watching and listening. Fans of Tesla are optimistic that the company will be able to meet and eventually exceed their expectations in terms of both production and overall service. Big investors and analysts that think Tesla can succeed in the near future and get beyond all obstacles are included in this. Ron Barron says you'll see why Tesla stock will go 30 times higher today. Legendary investor Ron Barron has owned Tesla since 2014, long before the company's stock reached record highs for the automotive sector. In reaction to worries raised recently regarding Musk's abrupt move to purchase stock in Twitter, Barron reiterated his optimistic assessment of the automaker and revealed he would be keeping the shares for the majority of the upcoming 10 years. He notes that Musk's Twitter investment is worthless and that he intends to hold Tesla stock for at least the next 8 years. Tesla accounts for 44% of the portfolio in Barron Partners' flagship $8.7 billion fund, while SpaceX makes up more than 5%. Billionaire investor Ron Barron anticipates that the shares of Tesla will continue to soar for the next 10 years. His firm has already profited $6 billion from its initial investment in the company. American mutual fund manager and investor Ronald Stephen Barron, better known by his stage name Ron Barron, founded Barron Capital, an asset management company that specializes in providing growth equity investing solutions. With 52 years of research experience, Ron formed Barron Capital in 1982. Barron Growth, the $10 billion flagship fund of the buy and hold investor with an annual turnover of less than 3%. Ron Barron now has a $4.2 billion net worth. Barron Capital CEO Ron Barron stated that he intends to retain Tesla stock for a minimum of 8 more years during a CNBC Squawk Box episode. In the aforementioned interview, Barron stated, "I think we're going to make 3, 4, or 5 times our money on Tesla from here." According to Barron, he put $380 million into Tesla between 2014 and 2016 at an average price of about $40 per share. As a result, he has received a return on his investment of roughly 20 times, or $6 billion, to date. To diversify the portfolio, Barron has sold almost $1 billion worth of stock in the 2 mutual funds that own it. According to him, Tesla currently represents 12.8% of the assets managed by its funds. The billionaire investor predicted that Tesla might generate trillions of dollars in revenue by 2030, saying, "I think for Tesla, this is the very beginning of what they're doing," in an interview with CNBC in 2018. Considering that Tesla recorded $16.934 billion in total sales in its 2022 financial report for the second quarter, this might not be too far from the truth. It is difficult to predict whether Tesla will truly generate $1 trillion in revenue by the end of the decade due to the myriad of factors that could impact the EV company's stock. I believe the automotive and battery industries may be worth $500 billion combined. That seems like a better option than a 50-50th chance, according to the billionaire buy and hold investor. The fact that it could be a $60 billion company in 3 years, I give that maybe 80% chance, he stated. Despite having sold nearly $1 billion worth of Tesla shares, Barron's portfolio still has approximately 12.8% of all assets under management invested in the company, a staggering $6.2 billion, after the automaker's share price has soared in recent years. In 10 years, Barron believes Tesla will build 5 million cars a quarter after opening gigafactories in Texas and Berlin-Brandenburg, effectively making the company the size of Volkswagen and Toyota combined. In 3 years, he predicted Tesla, which declared that it had delivered 310,000 cars during the quarter, should be able to produce 1 million cars every quarter. How do you see the future of Tesla stock? Please share your thoughts in the space provided for comments below. The CEO and founder of Barron Capital stated in an email to CNBC, "This is a once-in-a-generation buying opportunity. Enormous, terrifying potential after the disaster in June 2020. The latest sell-off in the major U.S. market indices, which has brought the S&P 500 to its lowest point since late 2020, according to billionaire investor Ron Barron, indicates a massive buying opportunity. He claimed that there may be a tremendous chance for Americans as a result of the recent stock market collapse. From a long-term business standpoint, Barron contrasted the state of affairs at the company with what it was like when he first started Barron Capital in 1982. He pointed out that another period when markets collapsed occurred in the early 1980s, following an assertive Federal Reserve that was attempting to rein in inflation. He revealed that his two sons, who are now investors as well, have the same opportunity he had when he established Barron Capital, an investment management company based in New York City that is well known for its long-term investment approaches. Barron said Tesla easily exceeded Wall Street expectations of $2.20 to $2.30 per share and $18 billion in revenue. In 1982, the Dow Jones Industrial fell to 880 in a bear market, a term used by Wall Street for when the stock market drops by at least 20% for an extended period of time, and typically indicates an economic slump. Furthermore, Tesla's operational profit of roughly $1 billion exceeds the projections of analysts. As a result, Tesla shares saw a notable boost in after-hours trading, rising 5% to $1,017 per share from roughly $976 at the close. Despite others losing hope in Tesla, Barron is still optimistic about the company's stock. Similar to today, the COVID-19 epidemic brought in the economic collapse of 2020. Indeed, 2020 might have been far worse, with a 40 to 50% decline in shares. Barron stated that he would prefer to repurchase more Tesla stock even at that time. This occurred during a period of global hardship brought on by supply shortages, blocked borders, and a general sense of being stuck within with no way to leave. Barron continued to think that Elon Musk's businesses, SpaceX and Tesla, had a lot more space to develop. He thinks Tesla has 10 times more potential. In the next 10 years, SpaceX will expand by a factor of 20, he added. He had earlier projected that Tesla would expand similarly. Like he did in 2020, it is assumed that Barron views the volatility in stock prices, particularly Tesla's, as an opportunity. While other investors were deeply worried that the Tesla CEO has been losing focus on the company, which could lead to the stock dropping, he was not even upset by Elon Musk's stance on Twitter. Barron notes that Musk's Twitter investment is worthless and that he intends to hold Tesla stock for at least the next 8 years. He even projects that the shares will rise dramatically over the next 10 years. I believe we will produce 3, 4, or 5 times our money on Tesla from here. Barron reiterated his 2020 claim that there are 10 times greater benefits to investing in Tesla in a recent interview on a CNBC Squawk Box segment. Barron revealed to CNBC that since his company bought $380 million worth of Tesla stock, its investment had grown 20-fold to a total of $6.2 billion. Although the stake is highly concentrated, nearly 13% of Barron Capital's assets under management, Ron isn't concerned about its size and believes there is still more to come. As Ron Barron predicted in 2016, Tesla Incorporated rose to become one of the world's most valuable firms. This is presumably the reason Barron is unwavering in his support of Tesla stock, despite potential negative effects on stock prices from economic concerns. Barron cited well-known brands like Tesla as illustrations of the kinds of businesses that might spearhead the upcoming technological revolution. Barron may be long-term bullish, but there has been increased anxiety recently about a near-term recession. In general, we're still optimistic. Short-term macro factors, such as inflation, oil prices, interest rates, and the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, are generally not given much thought. We always have inflation, even if most people don't talk about it. Over the course of my life, inflation has averaged between 4 and 5% annually. This implies that prices roughly double every 10 to 15 years, approximately every 10 to 12 years, or 7 to 8% annually. The stock market doubles, according to Barron. Interestingly, Barron's prediction focuses more on long-term investments than day trading and echoes a lot of the investors' recommendations regarding the financial advantages of tracking compound interest accumulation. The key for investors, then, is to find stocks that are set to gain going forward when the bear runs its course, even if they are down now, Barron stated. I already informed you that I believed we would profit from Tesla 20 times over. We have made 4 times thus far. For the next 5 years, I believe we will produce twice or 3 times as much as we did the previous 5. If we're right, I believe Tesla has 10 times more to go before I even need to consider this, Barron remarked. Achieving financial success in the stock market is a challenging but achievable